Welcome folks! In this special video we will talk a bit about Dark Souls inspired mods in Skyrim. Dark Souls like mods became pretty popular in Skyrim, and the reason is pretty simple. First of all, Souls series gave us one of the most, if not simply the best, gameplay mechanics, combat, fatigue and so on. Dynamic, alive and absolutely realistic combat, and some gameplay effects like unpaused game menus and realistic game saves. Long story short, that is exactly that Skyrim lacked from the release. Secondly, Souls series has a really stylish UI, and most of Dark Souls armors and weapons are looking good in Skyrim, and if not judged very critically, they are looking not very law-breaking at the same time. That's why Dark Souls inspired mods are really popular. They can improve many gameplay aspects greatly, or just give you aesthetic feeling from amazing armors and weapons, and I will show you most interesting of them in this video. It contains three parts. First one is about armors and weapons, second one about various gameplay mods, and the last one is about Dark Souls inspired quest and new land mods. So let's go! Dark Souls Combined Set. It is a masterpiece recreation of most badass armors from first Dark Souls game. All these armors don't need much presentation, just let the pictures tell more than 1000 words. Regenbot website. I strongly recommend you to bookmark this website, as his mods are not present on Nexus. But if you want to see even more amazingly detailed and perfectly ported Dark Souls armors and weapons at your Skyrim character, you must have his mods. There are Dark Souls 2 armor collection with more than 10 different armor sets as well as some weapons. Also there are Souls Cinder armor and weapons and Black Knight armor packs from Dark Souls 3. Please also know that Dark Souls 2 armor pack support HDT physics, that means realistic physics on armor and clothing parts like blowing in the wind and so on. So, HDT plugin is required for this mod to work. Also, Forest New Idles is required too, and don't forget to rerun it to update it for new armor mod. FunkyGandalfCat profile. Another modder who has put a lot in Dark Souls mods for Skyrim, but in this time in weapon mods, is FunkyGandalfCat. Check out his profile, he ported several popular weapons from Dark Souls and Bloodborne series. There are well-known Heavy Greatsword, Sight of the Crow Mother, Draconic Brigand Axe, Drake Knightsword, and of course, amazing Lorkhan Moonlight Greatsword, with a lot of different variations based on its look in each game in Souls series. In addition, I must mention a couple of mods that actually don't make direct port from Dark Souls, but it is absolutely clear that these armors were heavily inspired by Souls series. First one is Resplendent Armor and Greatsword. Guess what boss was the inspiration for this, huh? It also supports HDG physics. Second one is DragonLord Armor from Zerafrost's latest mod. Besides being really much Dark Souls-like, the armor itself is a pure masterpiece. It is elegant, beautiful and insanely detailed. Souls quick menu. It is simple as that. Mod adds quick menus similar to Dark Souls, so you can fast switch items in some item list. It is not just Souls-like, but really useful for Skyrim, when if you have heavy modded playthrough, so dozens of spells, weapons and potions, even SkyUI sorting mechanism is not enough. You can easily set up each group of items in MCM menu and set up hotkey for them to toggle items listing, and even additional useful hotkeys, for example to drink chosen potion. Dark Souls Bonfires. This mod is pretty simple but atmospheric. It adds 9 bonfires from Dark Souls series into the game, located at the 9 main cities. You can find the bonfire marked with a camp symbol on the compass and it will be added to your map. Sitting at bonfire restores your health, magicka and stamina, and also curing all poisons and diseases. You can also use and upgrade Estus Flask, the same as in Dark Souls. Estus Flask is a very strong potion that can be used multiple times depending on its upgrade level. You can also fast travel between the bonfires, and there is a bottomless box at every bonfire, so you can store some items between travels. SkySouls, Unpaused game menus. How it is named, that it does. As you remember, using inventory or other menus in Dark Souls doesn't set game to pause, and you need to be careful with it as you can easily die. This mod brings similar feature to Skyrim. Inventory, containers, magic and favorites menu will not pause this game anymore. Lock On. It is a recreation of Dark Souls autofocus system in Skyrim, and even on its own, it may improve your combat accuracy greatly. In Skyrim, it is sometimes hard to hit the enemy in populated battles, as you may mistakenly attack other target, or just change attack direction while moving, or you may just not see anything in front of you while fighting in some dark cave. Lock On brings some accuracy. When you press Lock On hotkey, your camera automatically focuses on the closest target, and you also see a little light marked on it. Now, whatever happens, your camera and attack movements will always be pointed to your target, no matter has that NPC moved or you just dodged and changed direction of your attack. The lock-on jump to the next closest target, and so on. You can always switch targets or disable target locking anytime, and of course everything is customizable in MCM menu. TK Dodge. This mod is a lifesaver and absolutely must have if your modded gameplay is more challenging than vanilla. It allows you to dodge in 4 directions, both sides, back and forward. If you have successfully pressed dodge hotkey just before enemy attack or incoming spell, you will dodge it and receive no damage. So now you can survive in some critical situations when your character would be dead without this mod. It improves combat mechanics, making it more rewarding and fun. In my opinion, this mod is essential for both melee and ranged characters, as being a mage, for example, usually means having not the best armor value, so you need to avoid damage as much as possible. Dodge hotkey as well as stamina cost and some other values can be customized in MCM menu. Loot and degradation. In Dark Souls, weapons are not eternal. With each strike, its durability goes down and you need to repair it. Loot and degradation make similar approach and some more awesome things. Now, your tempered items will not be tempered forever. Each successful attack with a weapon, blocking with shield or weapon or taking unblocked damage makes your items degrade gradually, until they have not tempered stats again. The rate of degradation scales with material type. To always be sure your weapons are still fine, there is a cozy widget system. You can customize its look and position. To make your life easier, blacksmiths offer you tempered services. You can also temper items anywhere in the field using a repair kit. but this tempering process will be not so good and not so effective as one made in smithy. Also, blacksmiths will now have tempering skill level that is improving when they are tempering your items. In addition to this, all NPCs now have full access to enchantment items and they can even loot items from dead bodies nearby. And as usual, MCM menu offers you simple and wide amount of customization options to adjust mod difficulty to your taste. Now, after all those little showcases, you might be interested. What is that unusual UI I have? And here comes Customizable UI Replacer. The power of good UI should not be underestimated, and this mod authors knows that on 200%. This mod offers you a lot of modified vanilla icons, bars and other UI elements, and also for some well-known mods. At this moment it supports Lesson to the HUD, A Matter of Time, Loot and Degradation, Lock-on, Souls Quick Menu, and it's only a beginning. Mod is under very active development, so more supported mods will be added as well as more texture options, and even an animated UI. If you are bored with flat vanilla UI or just want to bring some style to your game, download this mod for sure. Oh, I almost forgot. One more for hardcore lovers. Only save when resting. This one disables all kind of saving, and now your game will make a save game file only after you slept in a bed. It is good, really hardcore alternative to usual game saves. Let's start from something to warm up, huh? Meet Apotheosis, Lifeless Walls. It is a middle to big size dungeon mod, but it can give you a lot of gameplay hours because of its difficulty. Travel to Lost Wimmer dungeon to discover new artifacts and face 5 huge Dark Souls inspired bosses with unique combat and magic skills. Those bosses are so big and tough enemies that beating them will make you say, "Whew, that was hard." In addition to amazing boss fights and hard difficulty in overall, mod offers great dungeon design and just amazing dark soundtracks from Alex Rowe. Darkend. It is a well-known, popular mod, and it is absolutely deserved. If you still have not played it, just watch and then run to download it. But before I will show you some gameplay, just take a look at this glorious and dark atmospheric level design. The pictures are speaking for themselves. Darkend is huge, almost DLC-size new line mod that will bring you dozens of hardcore gameplay hours. It is heavily inspired by Demon's Dark Souls games, which is already noticeable from previous shots. It offers you dozens of unexpected encounters, hundreds of strong, aggressive and creepy undead enemies, and of course, huge boss fights. Turn around often while exploring this island. You are never alone. One more feature of this mod is that there are no quest markers and quests as well, only several map markers that you can open and huge territory for careful exploration, both above and below the ground. Are you strong enough to find all secrets, beat all monstrous bosses and find all unique artifacts? The game will show. Vigilant. This mod is criminally underrated. It is really massive, like DLC in size, with a lot of dark, detective quests and even different endings. That depends on the decisions you will make during storyline. Vigilant adds new, huge, breathtaking detailed areas and amazing Dark Souls inspired boss fights. But what is even more great, it adds something that Skyrim must had from the beginning, Vigilant of standard storyline. And this storyline is so great and detailed that, despite not really lore-friendly bosses, you will still feel yourself just like playing an original game extension. In addition, there is a community project on Nexus that soon will make a complete voice acting for this mod. Be sure to check it out, I have left link in description. That's all for now, people. I hope you enjoyed. What kind of videos you want to see next? Write this in comments. And as always, be sure to enable channel notifications to see the new videos first. Thank you for your support, guys, you're amazing. Stay tuned and see you next time.